Alright, hello and welcome to another Solana tutorial. Today we are going to talk about accounts because it's such an important topic when it comes to Solana since like everything is an account essentially. And if you know how accounts work and how rent works, not only will you have a better understanding from the technical things, but also you can make actual money with that knowledge. So I am looking forward to sharing all that information with you. So let's get started. Essentially, whenever you want to store any kind of data on the Solana blockchain, you need to have an account. Now, that data can be anything from a smart contract, like an executable account, to just program data, any program that is executed on chain. If they want to persist something, they need an account for that. But an account is also just what you would consider your wallet. So you have an account to store all your SOL in. So essentially everything is an account, and an account is represented by a public key. So this 32-byte thing, if you access your wallet, this thing is your public key. So this here is an account. We can go and have a look on chain. If we go and have a look, this is an account. Look, it says it's an account, and that's just my account, which holds a little bit of SOL, and it has SPL tokens as well. But those SPL tokens, they themselves are accounts. Let's dive a little bit into that. So for instance, I have USDC, and if I look token accounts, so I have 3 token accounts here. For instance, USDC. Let's have a look here. USDC, the token itself, is also an account. So the token is represented by this public key. That's the mint ID. And it is owned by the token program. And it represents the USDC. Now, back to my account. In order for me to store how much of the USDC I own, I yet again need an account, and that's the token account. So there we have a token account that says I'm the owner of that. So my account, my wallet account, is the owner, and the token, the SPL token, is this one, and the balance that I hold is 25. And the token account itself has this balance, a little bit of SOL that it needs for rent. We'll get to that in just a second. But first, we've already been talking about the owner and stuff. Let's have a look, just a quick look, what every account has. So that's the metadata of the accounts. One thing is the owner, who owns that account. If it is a normal wallet account, then the system program owns the account. So if we go back here, that account, this one doesn't say it, but if I go to the Explorer, if I put in my address here, yeah, here it says the system program is the owner, assigned program ID. And the next flag we can already see here is executable. So can this account be executed? If it is a smart contract, then it will be executable. Then there's also the data, which can be any form of bits and bytes. You know, that's just the data that can be then interpreted as whatever. So whatever you want to store is essentially just an array of bytes, and you can interpret them as numbers, strings, or public keys or whatever, right? So that's all in the data. Lamport is the amount of SOL. So a Lamport, in case you don't know, is a billionth of a sol. So that's the smallest unit of the native currency of the Solana blockchain. So one field in the metadata says how many of those do I hold, does the account hold? And that's important for the rent. Speaking of rent, the metadata also tracks which is the next epoch where we need to pay rent. So let's talk about that rent, because that's actually quite an interesting topic, because accounts need to pay rent in order to stay active, because the validators, they need to store all of those accounts. They need to have that in storage, and that costs them. And the way Solana deals with that is by letting every account pay rent. There we go. So the rent is calculated with a certain in a certain matter, and essentially every epoch, which is every 2 days, you have to pay a certain amount of rent to keep that account alive, and that amount is subtracted from the balance of the account. However, there's this cool thing of rent exemption. So when you have a certain amount of sol in your account, then you're exempt from paying rent. And the argument behind that is that the cost of compute power and memory goes down exponentially. So if you have 2 years worth of rent, then that's enough that you can basically stay in there for free. So basically, it was just a design decision for them to say, okay, if you hold 2 years worth of rent, then you're not charged. And essentially, every account basically does that. Every account basically is just funded to be rent exempt, to exist forever, essentially, without having to constantly keep paying rent. And because every account is just funded that way, we need to pay, I don't want to say a lot, but a little bit every time that we create an account. Which brings us back to those token accounts. The token accounts that I hold here, each of them have a sol balance. For the accounts to stay alive, we need that sol. And it is getting quite dark. I think I'm gonna turn on the light because I've been so busy today. It's already, I didn't even have breakfast because I just developed a cool thing today. We get to that. Okay, so we've talked about rent. And that is also the reason, by the way, you might remember when we claim our domains at the SNS, at the Solana name service, if we claim it, we're asked how big should our account be? So how many kilobytes of data do you want to be able to hold in your account? And depending on how many bytes you hold in your account, you need to pay more rent. Actually, you don't pay the rent, you pay the account for being rent exempt. Right? So with 10 kilobytes, it's 0.07 something. And for 1 kilobyte, it's just 0.0085. So let's do that just for fun, because then we can see how it looks on chain. Remember just a fun little domain that I bought when I made that video. Did that go through? That goes through. Cool thing. And now, yeah, there we see I'm the owner and I can edit the content. So essentially just write something into the data field. But let's go there to the actual account. There we see it's 1 kilobyte plus 96 bytes for metadata. It's owned by the name service. It is not executable, so that's all the metadata, and that's the amount of lamperts that is in, so it's the amount of sol that is in this account in order to be rent exempt. So that's what I had to pay in here for that account to live. And I can't get it back because it's owned by the name service program. But coming back to token accounts. Token accounts, those things are owned by, and with the token program, there's a cool thing you can do, and that is close token accounts. And that is the one thing that I want you to take away from this video. Accounts can be closed again, and the lamperts that are inside can be taken out again. They're not lost forever, and I don't think that many people are aware of that, or people just don't care. Because I see many people develop applications that open accounts and never close them, and I don't get why. You just waste all that SOL on open accounts that are never used again. And I just don't get it, because you can just close them accounts again. Let's do a quick example with the token program, because that's the one that we know the best. So I already used demo once. Okay, so let's just use the demo from last time. There are already created token accounts for those tokens. Cool, let's just recycle that. You know what, I'm gonna print those with the token account as well. So that's the token account, and that's the amount of tokens that are in the token account. Okay, so first let's look at our balance just for fun, to use that as reference. But now we can say SPL token close, which closes a token account. I think it needs to be empty to do that, but we're gonna try it anyway. I've actually never tried that. Could not be passed as token account close. Token address. So I don't even provide the account, I provide the token. Okay, fine. SPL token close the token. Boom. And then it says it's not empty, still has token in it. Okay, fine. I don't need them anymore. I will just burn those tokens. And now it wants the token account every fucking time. Fine, then we just provide here the token account and not the token itself. It's a bit confusing sometimes when it wants the token and when it wants the token account. But in any case, we just burned the tokens now. And if we have a look, now that it's empty, again, wants the balance, and now SPL token close, and then I want to close the account for this token. Boom, went through. Boom, look at that. I got 0.002 SOL. We can also have a look at that, but that was on DevNet. If we have a look, essentially I just closed the account. That's the one instruction in that transaction, and from the token account I got all of the lamperts out and I put them onto my account. And that's pretty cool. Why is that pretty cool? Well, many people might have open token accounts that they don't use anymore, especially NFT collectors. I'm pretty sure that NFT collectors have quite a lot of open token accounts. You know what? Let's go to any of the NFT markets. Degen Ape Academy, the classic. Yeah, if only I could afford those. Anyhow, let's have a look. And I did not prepare this beforehand. I did not check this. But I'm just assuming that this guy who owns that is an NFT collector and therefore has a lot of open token accounts. So let's have a look. This guy, this wallet, just going in the Explorer, just going to his tokens and seeing what he has here. Oh, look, there are a few token accounts. Look, it's all NFTs where there's 0 because he already got rid of the NFT. And this guy is not even like a big collector. There are people out there who have like tons of empty token accounts. That's what I mean. Look, that's what an NFT collector looks like, right? It's got a few ones and many zeros. There, USDC is also on 0, 0, 0. So there are just a lot of zeros. And that could be because that NFT is currently in a secondary market because it's listed somewhere on an NFT market. Or he just sent it out somewhere else. He just sent the NFT or he sold the NFT. The thing is, those token accounts are never closed. And there are so many zeros. Look how many zeros there are. If that person would just close all of their token accounts, then they could get some substantial money back. Potentially even buy another NFT just from that. Look how many freaking zeros there are. Anyhow, because not everybody will go import their wallet into this CLI and then manually close all of the token accounts, I have written a script that does that. And I call it the fee redeemer. And I also quickly threw together a web page. And essentially, you can connect your wallet. And then you connect to this app. Currently, I'm still running it locally because I'm still testing it. It's a little bit buggy still. And essentially, it will tell you how many empty token accounts you have and how much SOL you could redeem. Now, in here, I'm not a big NFT collector, and my NFTs, I never put them away. But let's do that thought experiment. Let's send out this NFT. I would send out this NFT to a friend of mine. Okay, I would send it. Where do I send it? Let's use this, cause I can. Let's send it to this address, and we say next, and then we see, that is the network fee. Phantom already calculates the dollar amount of it, but it will essentially say 0.002 SOL. Send. There we go. If we have a look at that transaction, once it's confirmed, we see what happened. The fee is just 0.005, so that's the standard fee, but I had to create an associated token account and I had to put that amount of SOL on there. Actually, this looks better in the Explorer, if you ask me. Let's go to the Explorer. Because here we see, I like how it shows that that's how much I had to pay, and that's how much went onto this token account, right? So 0.002039 went onto this token account. Now, why is that 0.002039, you ask? Oh, I want to tell you because I'm a nerd and I like to dive deep into that, but you can skip that section and we come back to why I just sent an NFT out in just a few minutes. But I want to talk about why that much, right? It's because of the rent, but I know exactly why. And I want to tell you. So essentially, we want to know how, for a token account, what it stores, right? So a token account, and I looked that up in the Solana programming library. Here I found what the layout is of such a token account. Essentially, every token account stores which token it is, so the mint, the owner who owns this account, and then the amount, that's a U64 we discussed in one of the previous videos. I had to look at this layout because in my script I wanted to find in the data how many tokens are stored in that account, and I could do that by finding the right offset, essentially just skipping this and this to get to the amount. Delegation option, if it's a native token, blah, 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 and so on and so on. Point is, if we calculate all of that together, that layout we can now use to calculate how much data this account needs. So how many bytes that account needs. So a public key is a 32 byte thing. Then another public key, then the U64 is 64 bits, which is 8 bytes, and the 32 bit integer is 4 bytes, and then there's another public key, and then there's 1 byte, a U8, and then there is another 32 and another 64 and another one of those and another one of these and another public key is another 32. And if we calculate all of that together, then we get 165 bytes. Now, if we go here and say Solana rent for 165 bytes, we will get the information that, oh look, 0.00203928 is required for that amount of bytes for the account to be rent exempt. And that's exactly why, if we look here in our Explorer, that's why we fund the token account with exactly that many lamperts. It all makes sense now, doesn't it? Now, coming back to what we can now do, right? Because we had to pay that much for the other token account, right? For the token account of that other guy. And that's also exactly why airdrops on Solana are so expensive. Because if you want to create the token accounts for everyone, then you need to pay those. And if you airdrop to a lot of people, then that's quite a lot of SOL. And what can the people then do? They can claim it. But anyhow, okay. And now that we sent this NFT, actually let's have a look at our account again. If we could, because if we now look in our tokens, we see that our Andy NFT number 2, we've sent it out. It's 0 now because the Phantom wallet does not close the token account once you send something out. And there would be one advice for wallet creators. Why don't you close token accounts if the token account goes to 0? So if the amount goes to 0, especially with NFTs, if you send an NFT somewhere, you don't need the token account anymore. So when you go here to send an NFT, please just also close the token account, because that would give me my money back. So if that was open source, maybe I would do a pull request for the Phantom wallet. But anyhow, if you develop a wallet, that's my advice for you, being the smarty pants that I am. Yeah. So we have the 0 here. Now we go to my fee redeemer and it doesn't auto refresh. So let's do a refresh here and connect our wallet again. Now it tells us, oh, you have one empty token account and you could redeem those 0.002 SOL. And it doesn't just work with NFTs. Also, if I were to send normal tokens, let's send all of those USDC to that address. Send all of them. Send. Yeah, let's just 25 USDC. I don't care. Move on. It's a bit slow, the network today. There we go. So looking now Explorer again, refreshing that. We have 0 USDC now. And if we also refresh here, I seem to have a bug in my code, or it's not confirmed yet, any of those, but let's have a look. in my console. Empty is false. Okay. Okay. It just took a while. It just apparently wasn't updated. Okay. Now it tells me you have 2 empty token accounts that you could redeem a total of 0.004 Sol. And you get the idea, right? If somebody has like 100 unclosed token accounts, you can still, get 2 Sol out of there. And that's not nothing, especially with the current Sol prices. I'm just saying. Now, what we can do is we can click redeem, and then it will tell us, look, oh, you would only get 0.02. Oh, I was playing around with the maximum transactions that I can close in one go, and that's definitely more than 10. So it's still in active development. So if that compiles again, which I think it did, and if we connect again, and if we click redeem now it should put it all in one transaction. There we go. Because we can have a look. Essentially, it just closes the account and closes the other account. And then we get 0.004 Sol. And we can approve that. And wait a few seconds. Dip, 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 dip. We successfully redeemed some Sol. Isn't that cool? Isn't that freaking amazing? And we can now check this transaction. We can see we got the 0.4 because those 2 token accounts were closed. And if we go back to my account here, then we can see tokens, refresh, they are gone. It's just that token account where I have 1 left. And I redeemed the Sol. I have it back in my wallet. I can spend it on other stuff now. Isn't that cool? So, if you want to use that app, I mean, of course, use it at your own risk because it might still be buggy. And I don't know, I mean, there might be use cases where having an empty token account makes sense. I mean, maybe you could run into problems if you have listed it on the market and then the market sends it back to you without funding your account. But I think the way Magic Eden does it is they just move the account. So they basically just set a new authority to the token account and then you hold the account. So they don't have to close any token accounts. They just move it to you. So I don't think that you will get any troubles there. But again, I mean, use at your own risk. But I am planning to upload this to GitHub. I did not yet because I am still developing it and testing out how many accounts I can do. Because at some point you get to a limit from the transaction size. Because if I were to say here I allow for 30 instructions to close at the same time. Let's quickly go back to DevNet. In this wallet, I have a bunch of tokens, empty token accounts, 51 empty token accounts. So with 50 empty token accounts, it's already 0.1 Sol, which, is not nothing. Those are now too many. The transaction is just too big. But if I go down to say 28 or so, still too many, 20, there we go. With 20, it would still work. So I want to build just a loop around that so that it can just sign more transactions constantly to redeem all of your Sol. If you have more than 20 empty token accounts, such that also works. I still need to do that, and then I'm gonna upload that to my GitHub. Then you can try it if you want, and I'm definitely looking for feedback if that actually works for you. successfully redeemed some Sol. Look, and another one. Oh, look, and another one. So cool. I have already implemented that. I just see. Cool stuff. Look how cool that looks. You just close all of them and you get all of that money into your account. Isn't that cool? That's pretty cool. And that is just a front end app. This is just front end. This is no smart contract whatsoever that I needed for this. It's just a front end, and with my wallet and an RPC provider, I can send the transaction to the blockchain, and the token program is the smart contract that actually closes the token account. But that's already on chain, so I don't need to develop a smart contract for that. And you don't need to do anything. It basically go to my GitHub pages. I will have a link in the description, and then you can also redeem your fees that you have paid for sending around NFTs and stuff. I would hope that we've learned something today. And if you want to learn more about Solana and tokens and all of that cool stuff, blockchain stuff, subscribe to this channel. I make more of these videos because I'm just super interested in that topic and I love to learn. And let me know what you want to learn about next. And maybe if I also want to learn about it, I might make a video about it. You can join my Discord where there are other people helping each other navigate the blockchain space, especially Solana. Yeah, I hope that this video was helpful, and make sure to like and subscribe and even hit the notification bell, or don't. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday. By the 27th, I wish for my birthday that we reach 1K subscribers here on this channel, and that's the 27th of February. So please subscribe. You don't even need to watch the videos. It's fine if you just subscribe for now. But of course, it makes sense to subscribe if you're into those videos. And if you watched that far, then I think you might as well subscribe. So yeah, thank you for sticking around and learning about rent and accounts with me. And any questions, let me know. I'm not an expert. I'm also just learning myself, but I always want to learn. So this keeps me engaged. Yeah, cool. And then I see you in the next video. I will probably promote the fee redeemer once it's less buggy. I just tell you that you can test it. I need to still fix a few things, but then I'm gonna tell NFT collectors that they should give it a try, because you essentially get money for free. Why wouldn't you do that, right? And I don't even get a cut. Of course, I could easily implement here in my fee redeemer where I build the transactions, that I add another instruction to the transaction which gives me a cut of that, but I don't do that because I'm a nice person. But I might add a smart contract that I programmed myself just to make a counter how much has already been redeemed, because I just find that interesting. Because I have no way of telling if you use that. I have no way of telling that you clicked redeem here, because it doesn't interact with any of my accounts or any of my smart contracts. It's literally just the token program that you call with the close. So I kind of want to add a smart contract that does a counter, but for that we need to learn how to build smart contracts, and that is a topic for the next video. Until then, bye bye. So cool. We learned so many things. So cool. Look how cool that looks. Just so good. You can do that. Just redeem all of that SOL that you spent.